A woman called him incapable by her own husband, rejected by her family for not being able to have children, abandoned on the street, alone, crying until she has no more tears. But then, a stranger approaches, and what he does changes her whole story. Because sometimes, when everyone turns their back, God puts someone in your path to show you that you are never alone. And the ending will give you goosebumps. A story of abandonment, faith, and a miracle that no one expected. So subscribe to the channel, leave your like and comment on where you're watching from, and let's get to the story. Emily never imagined that one day she would be sitting in the middle of the sidewalk on a cold Chattanooga afternoon, crying as if the world had collapsed on top of her. And, in a way, it had. She was 28 years old, with always well-groomed brown hair, green eyes that used to sparkle when she smiled, but now they were swollen, red, empty. She wore a beige coat that offered no warmth, her knees bent against her chest, trying to protect herself from the wind, or perhaps from herself. People rushed past her. No one stopped. No one looked. Emily was just another shadow on that busy street. But inside, she screamed. She screamed in pain, in shame, in an emptiness so profound it seemed endless. 3 days earlier, her husband, Daniel, had left home. It wasn't a normal fight. It was worse. He looked at her with contempt, with anger, and said things that no woman should hear from the man who swore to love her forever. "You're worthless, Emily. You can't give me a child. What kind of woman are you? You're incapable, less of a woman." Those words pierced her like knives. And the worst part? He wasn't drunk, he wasn't nervous. He was cold, calculating, as if he'd been holding it all in for months, and finally decided to unleash it all at once. Emily tried to explain herself, begged him to understand. She had gone to doctors, had tests done, tried everything. Infertility wasn't her fault. It was something she couldn't control. But Daniel wouldn't listen. He wanted an heir. He wanted someone who worked. And Emily, in his view, was a mistake. He grabbed his bags and left, just like that, without looking back. Emily stood there in the middle of the room, listening to the sound of the door slamming shut. And it was as if something inside her had also been closed off. Locked up, thrown away. In the following days, she could barely get out of bed. She cried herself to sleep. She would wake up and cry again. She had no strength for anything. But the worst was yet to come. She decided to call her parents. Maybe they could help. Maybe they could comfort their broken daughter. Emily went to their house in the suburbs of Chattanooga, a large, well-kept house with a perfect garden and a huge Bible on the living room table. Emily's parents were always religious, strict, the kind who went to church every Sunday, who quoted verses in every conversation, who judged everyone in the name of God. Emily grew up in that environment, but never felt truly loved. She always felt she needed to be perfect to deserve their love. And on that day, she discovered that she was right. Her mother, a 55-year-old woman with gray hair pulled back in a tight bun, opened the door with a serious expression. She didn't hug her daughter. She didn't ask if she was all right. She just looked her up and down, like someone assessing a broken object. "What do you want, Emily?" Emily could barely speak. Her voice came out trembling and weak. "Mom, Daniel left me. I don't know what to do. I need you." The mother sighed. She crossed her arms. And before Emily could continue, her father appeared in the doorway as well. A tall man, broad-shouldered, with a hard expression that never changed. "We already know, Emily. Daniel called us. He told us everything." Emily felt the ground disappear beneath her feet. He called? Yes, and he was right. That hurt more than anything her husband had said. How could he be right? Emily asked, almost in a whisper. The father stepped forward. His voice was cold and heavy. "You can't have children, Emily. That's a sign. A barren woman is not blessed by God. You are not worthy. The Bible talks about this. If God hasn't given you the ability to bear children, it's because He doesn't consider you capable." Emily froze. She couldn't believe what she was hearing. Those were her parents, the people who should have protected her, loved her, been by her side. And there they were, using God as a weapon to hurt her even more. Do you think I'm cursed? She asked, tears streaming down her face. The mother lowered her gaze, but the father did not. He looked directly into her eyes and said, "We don't want you coming back here, Emily. You need to sort this out with God, alone." And he closed the door. Emily stood there, in front of the house where she grew up, feeling the weight of those words crushing what little was left of her. She had always felt she wasn't good enough for her parents, and now she had confirmation. She went back to the street, aimless, without a destination, without hope. That's how she ended up on that sidewalk, crying, hugging her knees, wishing she could disappear. Emily couldn't stop thinking about her father's words. "You're not worthy. God doesn't consider you capable." Was it true? Did God really see her that way? As a mistake? As someone who didn't deserve love, didn't deserve family, didn't deserve anything? She was so lost in her own thoughts that she didn't even notice when someone stopped in front of her. She only felt a presence. And then, a soft voice. "Hey, are you okay?" Emily slowly lifted her face, and she saw a man there, crouching at her level, looking at her with genuine concern in his eyes. He must have been about 32 years old, with slightly messy dark hair, unshaven, a simple jacket and worn jeans. Nothing special. But there was something different about him. Something... Sure. Emily quickly wiped away her tears, embarrassed. I'm fine. I'm just tired." He didn't believe it, but he didn't insist either. He just stood there, silent, waiting, as if he had all the time in the world. And that's what broke Emily. No one had stopped. No one had looked at her kindly in days. And that stranger, out of nowhere, was there. Just there. "I'm not okay," she admitted, her voice breaking. "I'm not okay at all." The man gave a small, sad smile, and then, without asking permission, he sat down next to her on the sidewalk, as if it were the most natural thing in the world. "My name is Lucas," he said calmly, "and I'm not going to pretend I know what you're going through, but I know that nobody cries like this in the street without a good reason. And if you want to talk, I'm here to listen." Emily stared at him in disbelief. Who was this guy? Why did he care? She didn't know him. He had no obligation whatsoever. But perhaps that was exactly why she started talking. Emily told him everything. Between sobs and long pauses, she opened her heart to that stranger in a way she never had with anyone before. She spoke about her crumbling marriage, about the husband who called her incapable, about the infertility she carried like a cross, and about the parents who rejected her in the name of God. Lucas listened to everything. He didn't interrupt. He didn't judge. He just listened. And when she finished, he was silent for a moment, as if choosing the right words. "Emily," he said finally, in a calm but firm voice, "I don't know who told you those horrible things, but I do know one thing. They were wrong. Completely wrong." Emily looked at him, confused. Wrong. But they used the Bible. They spoke of God. How could that be wrong? Lucas sighed. And then, he did something unexpected. He took a small Bible out of his jacket pocket. It wasn't new. It wasn't pretty. It was old, worn, with marked and folded pages. A Bible that was clearly read every day. "Look," he said, holding the book carefully. "I'm not a pastor. I'm not a theologian. But I read this every day. And I have never ever seen God condemn someone for something they cannot control. The God I know is not like that." Emily felt a lump in her throat. "So, which God do you know?" Lucas smiled. A gentle smile, full of peace. "The God I know is a God of love, of healing, of second chances. He doesn't measure your worth by what you can or cannot do. He loves you because you are his child. And that doesn't change. It never changes." Those words entered Emily's heart like a balm. She had never heard God described like that. For her, God had always been that distant judge, ready to point out mistakes, ready to punish. But Lucas was talking about a different God, a father. "I don't know if I believe that," Emily whispered. "I don't know if God truly loves me." Lucas looked at her with a tenderness she wasn't used to seeing. "Then let me show you." And that's how everything changed. Lucas didn't let Emily go back to the streets that day. He took her to his church, a small, simple church in the St. Elmo neighborhood of Chattanooga. It wasn't anything grand, just a white building with wooden chairs, a humble pulpit, and an old piano in the corner. But there was something there. Something Emily couldn't explain. A peace, a sense of belonging. The church pastor, a 60-year-old man named Mark, greeted Emily with a hug. He asked no questions. He didn't ask for explanations. He simply said, "You're welcome here, daughter." And for the first time in a long time, Emily felt that maybe, just maybe, she wasn't completely lost. Lucas became a constant friend. He visited Emily almost every day. He brought food, talked, kept her company. He never tried anything. He was never inconvenient. He was just there, present, like a brother, like someone who truly cared. They started going to church together every Sunday. Emily, who was terrified of churches because of her parents' strictness, discovered that this place was different. There, no one judged her. No one measured her. No one made her feel small. There, she was just Emily. And that was enough. Little by little, she opened up again, laughing again, believing again. And Lucas was always there by her side, praying with her, reading the Bible with her, showing her a love she had never experienced before. A year has passed, and something has changed. Emily and Lucas were no longer just friends. A tenderness, a care, a true love had blossomed between them. It wasn't a romance from a soap opera, full of drama and passion. It was a quiet, profound love, built day by day. A love that came from God. Lucas proposed to Emily one simple evening on his porch, with a modest but meaningful ring. He held her hand and said, "Emily, I can't promise that life will be perfect, but I can promise that I will love you every day, just the way you are, and just the way God made you. Will you build a life with me?" Emily didn't even need to think. She just said yes, and she cried. But this time, tears of happiness. The wedding was small, in Pastor Mark's church, with just a few friends, no frills, no big party. But it was the most beautiful day of Emily's life. She wore a simple white dress, carried a bouquet of wildflowers, and walked down the aisle with a smile that couldn't fit on her face. When Pastor Mark asked, "Do you accept this man as your husband?" Emily looked into Lucas's eyes and replied, "I accept, with all my heart." And Lucas, holding her hands, replied, "Me too, forever." They built a life together, a simple life, but full of love. Lucas worked as a mechanic. Emily got a job as a secretary at a clinic. They lived in a small house with 2 bedrooms, a backyard where Emily grew flowers, and a porch where they had coffee every morning. It wasn't a life of luxury, but it was a life of peace. And for Emily, that was everything. Over time, she finally accepted it. Maybe she would never be a mother, and that was okay. God had other plans for her. She didn't need children to be complete. She was complete in God, and in Lucas's love. She had made peace with it. Or at least, she thought she had. Then, 2 years after the wedding, Emily started feeling strange, tired, nauseous, dizzy. At first, she thought it was just work stress, but when the symptoms didn't go away, Lucas insisted she see a doctor. Emily went. She had the tests done, and she waited for the results with a heavy heart. She didn't even consider the possibility. After all, she was infertile. The doctors had said so. Daniel had thrown it in her face. It was impossible. But when the doctor entered the room with a smile on his face, Emily felt the world stop. "Emily, congratulations. You're pregnant." She was in shock. She couldn't speak. She couldn't process it. This can't be true. I can't have children." The doctor looked at her kindly. "Sometimes, Emily, medicine doesn't have all the answers. You're pregnant. And not only that, you're expecting twins." Emily felt her legs go weak. Twins. 2 babies inside her. When everyone said it was impossible. When she herself had given up. She left that doctor's office as if she were floating. When she got home, Lucas was in the living room, fixing a chair. Emily came in, still holding the envelope with the test results, and he looked at her, curious. "So, what did the doctor say?" Emily couldn't hold back. Tears began to fall. And then she said, "I'm pregnant. Lucas. With twins." Lucas dropped the tool. He stood there for a second, processing, and then he crossed the room, cupped her face in his hands, and began to cry as well. "I knew it," he whispered, his voice choked with emotion. "I knew God hadn't forgotten you." And there, in the middle of that simple room, the two embraced. They cried. They laughed. They gave thanks. Because God hadn't forgotten. He was just waiting for the right moment. He took Emily away from those who didn't know how to love her. And he placed someone in her path who truly loved her. Someone who showed her who God really was. Emily's pregnancy was closely monitored, week after week, with care and attention. The doctors couldn't explain what had happened, but Emily knew. It wasn't science. It was a miracle. It was God rewriting the story that the world had said was impossible. Lucas was even more excited than she was, if that was possible. He had already started setting up the baby's room, painting the walls light yellow, buying 2 second-hand cribs that he refurbished himself. He read stories to Emily's belly every night, even when she laughed and said the babies couldn't even hear yet. He didn't care. He wanted them to know from the very beginning that they were loved. Emily felt complete in a way she never imagined possible. That emptiness she had carried for years, that feeling of being less of a woman, as Daniel had said, was gone. Not because she could now have children, but because she had understood something. Her worth had never been in that. Her worth had always been in who she was. A daughter of God, loved, chosen. The twins were born on a spring morning, on a sunny day that seemed tailor-made for them. 2 boys. Healthy. Perfect. Emily held them both in her arms, one in each, and cried so much that Lucas had to wipe away her tears. "They are ours, Lucas. They are truly ours." He kissed her forehead, his own eyes filled with tears. They always were. God was just saving them for us. Emily named them Caleb and Ethan, 2 biblical names with strong meanings. Caleb, meaning faithfulness. Ethan, meaning steadfast. Because those 2 boys were proof of God's faithfulness and the steadfastness of true love. In the following months, Emily's life completely transformed. She and Lucas now woke up in the middle of the night, taking turns breastfeeding, changing diapers, and rocking the babies to sleep. It was exhausting. It was chaotic, but it was the most beautiful thing Emily had ever experienced. She couldn't stop looking at her children. She couldn't believe they were there, that they were hers, that God had done the impossible. One Sunday, Emily returned to church with the twins in her arms. It was the first time she had taken the boys there, and the reaction of the people was something she would never forget. Pastor Mark, the same man who had taken her in when she had nothing, took the babies in his arms and began to cry. "I look what God has done," he said, his voice breaking. "Look." The whole church celebrated. They sang. They prayed. They gave thanks. Because Emily's story wasn't just hers. It was everyone's story there. It was proof that God still performs miracles. That He doesn't abandon us. That when everything seems lost, He writes a new story. But not everything was perfect. Because, from time to time, Emily still thought about her parents. She still felt the pain of rejection. She still wondered if they knew she was pregnant. If they regretted the words they had said. If they missed her. Lucas knew this. And one night, while the twins slept, he sat beside her on the porch and asked, "Do you want to talk to them?" Emily was silent for a while. Then she sighed. "I don't know, Lucas. They hurt me so much. They turned their backs on me when I needed them most. Why should I go back?" Lucas held her hand. "It's not about what they deserve, Emily. It's about what will bring you peace. If you feel you need to forgive, forgive. Not for them, for yourself. Emily thought about it for days, and then, one afternoon, she mustered up the courage. She picked up the phone, dialed her parents' numbers and waited. Her heart was racing. Her hands were trembling. Her mother answered. "Hello?" Emily took a deep breath. "Hi, Mom. It's me, Emily." On the other end of the line, there was a long silence. And then, the mother's voice, low, almost inaudible. "Emily, I just wanted you all to know one thing," Emily continued, her voice firm but emotional. "I got pregnant, and I had 2 children. Twins. Healthy. Perfect. God blessed me, Mom, even when you said he wouldn't." Silence again. And then, her mother began to cry. "Emily, I'm so sorry. We messed up. We messed up so badly." Emily felt her own tears falling, but not tears of pain. Tears of relief. "I know, Mom, but I forgive you. And if you want to meet your grandchildren, the door is open." It took a while, but eventually, Emily's parents showed up. Ashamed, regretful, with a humility Emily had never seen in them. They held their grandchildren in their arms, asked their daughter for forgiveness, and for the first time, Emily felt she had a real family. It wasn't perfect. There were still wounds, but there was also a new beginning, a fresh start. And Emily understood something important at that moment. Forgiving doesn't mean forgetting. It means letting go. Letting go of the pain. Letting go of the weight. And moving on. Today, Emily is the mother of 2 beautiful boys, the wife of a man who truly loves her, and the daughter of a God who has never abandoned her. She looks back and sees clearly. Everything she lost was for something she was going to gain. God took away from her those who made her feel small, and gave her those who made her feel loved. Daniel, her ex-husband, never came back. He never asked for forgiveness. And Emily doesn't even care, because she understood that he never deserved her love, and that God had someone better in store. Her parents changed. Not completely, but they changed. They learned the hard way that God is not a cruel judge, and that true love doesn't judge. It embraces. And Emily finally understood her worth. Not because she had children, but because she learned that God loves her, regardless of anything, that she was always worthy, always capable, always enough. She didn't need to prove anything to anyone, she just needed to believe. One afternoon, sitting on the porch with Lucas beside her, the twins playing in the yard, Emily looked up at the sky and whispered, "Thank you for not giving up on me." And from somewhere up there, she knows that God smiled, because he never gives up, he never abandons, and he always writes the ending of the story in the most beautiful way possible. Even when everyone says it's over, he says, "I'm still writing." Emily's story reminds us that our worth has never been defined by what we achieve or fail to do. God doesn't measure love by results. He loves us because we belong to him. And when the world turns its back on us, when even those who should love us abandon us, God puts the right people in our path, at the right time, not to complete us, but to show us that we were already complete, that we were already worthy. If this story touched you in any way, leave a like, comment on what you thought, and subscribe to continue hearing stories that speak directly to the heart, because God is still writing, and your story isn't over either.